Welcome to TheStreet.com TV. The Royal Bank of Scotland announcing doomsday in about 3 months. We're going to have a huge step back in the S&P, huge global crisis in the credit market. Will we get this crash? Jim Cramer, what do you think?
The crash is occurring. I found the piece bereft of new insight. We have a crash in the financials. It occurs pretty much every single day. Today's Fifth Third, Lehman Brothers. These are all slated, I think, to have to raise a lot of capital. We are in a 1990 situation. It's playing out a little bit longer than I would have liked because we keep propping up banks. In 1990, there was no spare capital, so a Fifth Third would have already gone under today, and a Lehman would have gone under already. So they can continue to raise capital. Is it right they go under? I don't really care. I mean, it's capitalism. If you borrow too much, you're going to get hit here. It's great that they keep holding on, but the RBS piece presumes that there's been nothing happening, that the valuations haven't been knocked down, that the market's expensive. The market is discounting a lot of real negatives here. There's a lot of market that I wouldn't touch. I don't touch financials. I don't touch retail. I don't touch anything domestic. And that you're talking about, say, 25% of the S&P. If they're right, gold goes higher. If they're right, oil goes higher. If they're right, minerals go higher, unless they feel there's going to be a depression. And if there's a depression, you have what we have in the housing stocks, which is that they go down a lot, but they bottom. The essence of the Royal Bank piece is that they're trying to predict an event that is not predictable, that always can be in the cards. The way I ran my fund, the way I advise people to watch this is always expect a crash. We had it in '87. It made no sense at all. When we had it, it was big. We had it in 9/11. No one saw that coming, obviously. It was terrible. We had the dot-com crash. I mean, all of these should be the same clarion call, which is that crashes could happen, whether RBS predicts it or RBS doesn't predict it. So run your portfolio with cash. Run your portfolio with some shorts. Run your portfolio with puts. Run your portfolio with my controversial stock replacement plays that I emphasize over and over again that I've been saying you should do with fertilizers, which is you buy deep in the money calls, and as the stocks go up, you sell common against it so that if we did have a crash, the common is short against a call so that, let's say you're buying potash at 200, you're buying the December 160s or 170s, and you're scaling out a common each up. If we really had a crash and maybe potash goes to 150, you'll be short common, you'll pick up 20 points between the strikes, and you'll be able to sell the call for some pump. So that's just a great short method. I ran my fund typically with about half my exposure to be the long call short common. It seems to still elude people. I talk about it in Real Money, the book. But it's a great way. Always expect a crash. If it's the notion of RBS trying to predict a crash is like saying, listen, we're going to have a hurricane on October 4th. Just presume there's going to be hurricanes and be ready for them.
The turnaround factors are going to be oil and housing, you say in your piece.
Yeah, well, I mean, you minimize the crash by having oil stabilized. Doesn't have to go down. And by housing stabilized, doesn't have to go down. And we're not there yet.
All right. Well, thanks very much, Jim Cramer, because this piece is really scaring a lot of us out there about
Well, I guess I should issue
doomsday.
One of these pieces every day and say, on November 5th, we're going to crash.
Contrarian,
I mean,
yeah.
It's the kind of thing that if I were at RBS trying to make a splash, I would do. They're in the business of making splashes. This is their Iron Man moment.
And this is the kind of headline that really bleeds in London these days. They're very competitive in their publishing industry. This is Wall Street Confidential, everyone. Always with the great Jim Cramer. Stay tuned for more.